Today's video will cover 4 of the 7 books that make up the Waldorf Kindergarten curriculum from Live Education. You can click on the screen at any time to see the video that covers the first 3 books, and in the description box below you'll find a complete list of all the supplies that we're using for kindergarten.
Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine, and today I want to share with you some of the things that are in a Waldorf Kindergarten curriculum. We are using the Live Education curriculum, and if you notice behind me, we have just gotten all of our supplies in for kindergarten, and the majority of them were all purchased from achildsdream.com, and I'll leave all of that information in the description box below so that you can check them out. They have some of the most wonderful, magical things for all ages, really. So this is going to be a fun year for me as well as the kids. So let's start off by looking through the Waldorf curriculum. So when you get it, you get 7 of these books, and you might think, well, that's not very much, and really it isn't. You really have to bring a lot of yourself and creativity to the curriculum. I went ahead and added a label to the front cover. I also colored the label so that when the curriculum is in my bookshelf, then it's really easy to identify the books that I need or the grade level. I also added the grade level on the front because I didn't notice that it was written on the front, and it can get really confusing after a while if you're trying to find a particular book for a particular grade if you're not sure which grade that belonged in. Alright, so the next 4 books, we can go through these ones pretty quickly. These are for the different seasons. So you have summer and autumn and spring and winter. So yeah, these aren't in order either. Now for these, the format of the books is generally the same. So instead of thinking of it from like September to June for your school year, you're really thinking about the whole entire year and the different seasons and how to teach the curriculum according to those seasons. Or not really according to those seasons, but more with those seasons in mind, like being mindful of them. So in the summer curriculum, it's going to go over the festivals. So you have festivals and celebrations first. Oh, I want to point out something that I might have forgotten to say. There's a lot of supplies that I have that my kids use that aren't typically used in a kindergarten classroom. So there is watercoloring, and there might be some artistic expression with the crayons, which are generally the block crayons, but there isn't any actual academic work. So the rhythm of the day is stories and play and baking and gardening. And of course the celebrations. That's what makes up the whole kindergarten curriculum. Now, my kid sees, my 5-year-old sees the older siblings doing work, and they have, you know, a workbook, or they have a main lesson book, and there is a desire to have those things too. And instead of, in my opinion, instead of saying no, you can't have that, you know, you can make things that are similar to that for your child, so that he or she can have something that resembles what the older kids are doing, but is more like age appropriate for a kindergarten according to the philosophy, if you want to follow that. So it is a little bit challenging if you've got multiple ages, multiple grades, trying to do something that's really specific for kindergarten if you've got older kids doing something that's really different. But at the same time, I think the older kids will really enjoy continuing in the activities that the kindergartners do, because I'll tell you, up until last year, all of my kids still like to watercolor with me, and by all my kids, I mean the kids that I was homeschooling. So now my 14-year-old I don't think is as interested anymore, but last year we all watercolored with the same enthusiasm, though I think I was the most enthusiastic. Alright, so something else I forgot to mention is there's a lot of singing and music in the curriculum. Now, I'm not musically inclined at all, so I tend to overlook some of those things, but it's important to know that it is in here, and if you can read music, there are some, there's music in here, and notes. I don't know, what do you call that? Sheet music? And I think you mostly use the recorder and the piano, if I'm not mistaken, for most of these songs. And it has some beautiful illustrations as well. And then let's see. Alright, so you also have, let me go back for a minute here. You also have some stories here. And I overlooked that part. You have some stories, which is great. So if you don't know, or if you're a little bit creatively challenged in the story department, you don't have to worry. There are stories in here. But what's really great is that once you read enough of them, I think you kind of get the whole rhythm and flow of a story, and you can start to make them up on your own, and you don't have to feel tied to the curriculum. And then there are a variety of crafts that you can do, and there are some instructions. And since we plan to do a lot of these, I will have tutorials on a lot of these crafts so that you can do them too. I know that sometimes it's a little bit difficult if you're not a craftily inclined person, then it could be a little bit difficult and a little bit challenging to do some of these things. But if you watch a tutorial, you might be more inspired. And then the last thing in here is about celebrating birthdays. So here's the part about celebrations. So you had like the festivals, and then you have like the celebrations, and birthdays are a really big deal. So that's something to be mindful of. And I'm not going to go through as much detail with the rest of them, with the rest of the seasons, the rest of the books, but it follows pretty much the same pattern. So what's great though is that when you get to autumn though, you have, of course, you have the different celebrations and festivals. So you have Halloween and Thanksgiving, and then it has recipes, which cooking is perfect for the fall. And it has all these wonderful recipes in here, and don't worry, we plan to do them as well. But what's really great about these particular recipes is that they're so aromatic, and they're gonna make your whole home smell delicious. And one thing that I wanted to do, one of my goals early on when I was homeschooling, is that I wanted the kids to smell good food. I wanted them to smell food or whatever, something baking. I wanted them to have that kind of a memory when they grew up of just, you know, something smelling good in the kitchen. And so this is going to be a great addition to that, because having some new recipes is always a good thing. And of course that adds to one of my goals in homeschooling, is just to make their childhood something memorable. And if you know, smell is one of the strongest memory things, helps you remember, or memory, like you remember things from the smell. Anyway, I think you understand what I'm saying. All right, so you have activities, and then stories, and then some songs, and then I think there are a couple, nope, there are not crafts in this one, but that's okay. And then you have spring, and again, you'll have your festivals, and there's some more songs. There's less in this one. There aren't any recipes, if I remember, and I don't think there were too many crafts in here, but there are a lot of song, and there's a lot with the celebrations. And then you have winter. Yes, I went out of order. I realized that. Winter is pretty thick. There is, of course, a lot with the different celebrations, the different religious celebrations. And then there's a lot with the I'm actually unfamiliar with a lot of these things. I'm familiar with Hanukkah and Christmas, but I am unfamiliar with some of the other saints, Saint Nicholas, of course, but some of the other ones, I wasn't familiar with it. So you could either choose to do this, or you could choose to do something else. That's your choice. The point isn't to say, follow this. The point is, celebrations are important. So celebrate whatever it is, but celebrations are important for children and for your community. So if this isn't something that you might be thinking, well, this is a great philosophy, but it's maybe very specific or concentrated for one group of people. It's really not. There are Waldorf schools all over the world, and what is probably really wonderful about them is that they can bring to light the cultural celebrations and the religious celebrations and the national celebrations of that particular area, and you can too. And then with this one, there are a variety of songs and projects, and I think there's some recipes over here at the back. So that's going to be fun to go through. Okay, so I appreciate you sticking with me to the end of this one. I know this was a long one to go over the whole kindergarten curriculum. Of course, I'm going to have tutorials on on as many projects that we end up doing. Don't forget, you can check out the curriculum hall by clicking there's probably a link on the little eye icon, as well as in the description below. If you have any questions, please do let me know. I've not been trained in the Waldorf philosophy, so if I've said anything wrong according to the philosophy, I do apologize. We've just been doing it for a really long time, and of course over the years other philosophies and other ideas and just our personal experiences have seeped in and altered the way we do the curriculum. And so I never tell people that we're doing fully Waldorf curriculum. It's always Waldorf inspired with a whole lot of other stuff. All right, thanks for watching.